Stay tuned and I'll tell you about the fantastic gig at the Hydro tonight in Glasgow. Yeah guys, welcome back. As I say, this is just a wee quick video about the show tonight at the Hydro. Ghost on their latest tour. My day off today, so I didn't actually have any plans for tonight, and I knew that Ghost were playing tonight, and it seemed like a very good thing to do, so I got a hold of a ticket through the Ticketmaster resale. Seated ticket, which is not a problem. I've done that a couple of times recently. The legs are not what they used to be, so quite enjoy a seated ticket. But seeing that show tonight from up above was a theatrical masterpiece. It genuinely was a theatrical experience to behold. First of all, let me talk you through my day. So I got the ticket sorted. Made my way earlier on, so the doors were opening at 6:30. And for good reason. I think the queuing system, I don't know what happened in the Hydro tonight. Met up with a couple of friends, a couple of drinks in nearby in Finison. Everything's going well. We leave like at least a wee while to go. Get to the Hydro and there is queues everywhere outside. There must have been easily, I don't know, a few thousand people still outside the venue. If you know the actual number, please let me know. But it was going nowhere. I think the actual start of the show at 8:30 was pushed back a wee bit to accommodate the fact that there was so many people outside. And a lot of the people who had been there for a while were telling me. I don't know whether that was to do with the phone thing. We'll come to that in a minute. I just left my phone in the house. Couldn't be bothered with the whole drama. I've seen queues in the Hydro at the best of times, and I don't need any encouragement to slow things down when I'm going to a gig at the Hydro. They don't need any excuse rather. So we get to the Hydro, queued up. Eventually the stewards got the queues moving and just started getting people in, which was great. Quick search. Again, the phone thing, maybe that was the reason, I don't know, but there was a lot of people outside. That wasn't just people that had stayed in a pub too long. That was a bit of a mess. However, got into the venue. I didn't have my phone, left it in the house, so this phone thing has been brought about and it's been discussed to death, so there's no point getting into that. But it didn't take away from the experience not having your phone. It was actually quite good, just not just switching off from it. And I'm a guy who goes to gigs and takes a lot of pictures. People watching the channel will know. I've been referred to in the past on the bikes as Captain Kodak because I do love photography and capturing memorable moments and stuff like that. But there was a couple of times during the show where I thought, oh, it'd be good to get a picture of, and it was actually quite refreshing that I didn't have it and just enjoy the spectacle. I won't have any spoilers in this gig in relation to the set, but the set list is fantastic. It's a dip sample, that's all I'll say. There's a good bit of variety, and the way it's structured, I would say it builds and builds, like any good rock show, to a culmination, and by the time it gets to that culmination, my god, you're just jumping about. I was up in the seats and there was a guy next to me from Newcastle. Big shout out to you, mate, from Newcastle. I can't even remember your name, sorry. But you were going to the Cat House and having a big night tonight, so good on you. The gig itself, the theatre, as I say, it's a theatrical masterpiece, and I will keep saying that in this show, in this video. Just the way everything's structured, it's just really, really well done. I saw Ghost before. Saw them at the ABC, I think I was supporting Alice in Chains a good few years ago. When I didn't quite get the memo and was quite disingenuous and not supportive of Ghost as a band and just didn't really agree with it. But eating those words now as I sit here with my Ghost t-shirt on, having watched them 4 times. So I saw them the ABC, no, with the Academy. Saw them at the Hydro. Before that I saw them down at Manchester with Metallica at the Etihad. And now tonight, so Ghost have been back in Glasgow, so I wasn't missing tonight. So yeah, I got my ticket through the resale thing with Ticketmaster. Got in there, place was packed. I was in the, well, not the top seats, but not far away, block 233. Really, really varied crowd. There was young kids behind me with headphones on. There was a much older, that's me saying that, there was a much older lady sitting at the aisle seat next to me. She got her seats mixed up. That was actually meant to be my seat, but I just thought, you know what, just go on, mate. And she was tapping away and just The guy next to me obviously was up for it, and that was spurring me on, because it is different when you're up in the seats. You feel as if you don't want to jump about and block people's views and stuff. However, there was a good few times during that show where you could not sit down. Just couldn't. It was fantastic. The whole band as well. One of the other things I need to bring up is about how tight they've always been. A great band, and they've developed, and they've got a really good, rounded, fantastic stadium sound. The album stuff comes through the bass. The bass sound there is it's a really chunky, like Steve Harris style Fender bass. It just ding 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 ding. It was cutting through beautifully. The sound in the hydro was actually great. I know some people have got their reservations about the sound in the hydro. Tonight it was absolutely perfect. Absolutely, they must put some effort into their just perfecting their craft of the Ghost like stage show, and it paid off tonight in spades, because again, theatrical, pyro. Again, no spoilers with the song set list. You can look it up if you want. But yeah, it covers all the bases, and it's a full 2 hours. So, and it flew by, which was kind of a shame. I was wanting it to keep going and keep going, as you do with most Ghost shows. Tobias just had the audience like right there, right there. He's just a master. Just how he does it. He's just being himself. He's so exuberant and artistic. The rest of the band, oh my god! As a drummer, the drumming was just next level. The pyro, the stage, some of the things that happen on the stage and stuff during the show. Again, no spoilers, are just really inventive. And the 2 hours flew by. It was absolutely brilliant. By the time I got back here tonight, I was going to leave this video for tomorrow, but I couldn't. I had to get this out tonight, and it'll go live tomorrow. But Glasgow, in a scale, well, certainly the best show that I've saw Ghost in Glasgow, easily. I don't think anybody, excuse me, I've lost my voice, a bit husky. I don't think anybody that was here tonight would disagree that that was a real barnstormer of a Ghost show. That was, and the no phones thing did add to that. The cameras were there and they were zooming around people in the crowd, and you could see, and it's true what Tobias says, people were fully engaged. Everybody's looking in the one direction, everybody's dialed in. So from that point of view, he's got his wish. And do you know what? Although it felt a bit weird, it wasn't the end of the world. There'll be plenty of other gigs where you can take your videos and your pictures, but that being the case tonight actually lent itself to that being a really spectacle. A really spectacle. These are spectacles. These are new glasses, by the way. What do you think of them? Quite nice. Aye, it was a spectacle. It really was. It was a spectacular theatrical masterpiece. Great vocals. The guitar playing is just on point. The duets, the dual playing, the bass, the backing singers, what do you call that? A keytar? The keyboard guitar thing. Everything. I just didn't want it to stop, because I sat in there till tomorrow morning listening to that. The crowd were just begging for it, just being mob. And from where I was sitting, you could just look around the whole kind of arena, and everybody was just absolutely, plugged in to it. So 10 out of 10. There's no downsides. We got in time despite the queues. The phone thing, who cares? I really, really enjoyed it. And I think it's going to take me a couple of days to really go through the set. I usually, when I finish gigs, I like to watch, inevitably watch people's YouTube videos or whatever, and do this bit and that bit. It's all in here. So that was a point that Tobias was raising when he was talking to the guy from Planet Rock. The gigs in the 90s and stuff, but nobody had phones. You didn't have all this technology, and you've got all these memories. Well, tonight, that's the epitome of that, because you have now got the stuff in here you tell people about, and I try and transfer that to you guys, and I hope you're getting a kind of flavour that that was spectacular. Really was. The tour now goes on to, I think, London tomorrow night. Be prepared, you're in for one hell of a show. Ticks all the boxes. The crowd interaction, the video, I loved that. The big screens, again, no spoilers, but obviously there's video screens where they're filming stuff live at the gig, and I don't think they're filming the gig, but they're filming obviously the fans and reactions and Tobias and the guitars and stuff. And the reactions from my fans that are right down the front, they've probably been there for, I don't know, since last night, camping out to get right front row. Loads of people with the makeup on, Papa, a lot of the nuns and girls, and just, I love all that. I find them an infectious band. I find the mixture of hard rock, heavy metal, not death metal, but there's a lot of dark, and then you've got an 80s pop kind of keyboard solo, and a nice wee catchy kind of toe tap and melody, and then straight back into like the traditional really dark. It's a masterpiece. They're a very unique band. They are the only band that are able to capture that kind of mix of sounds, and I can't get enough of it. Can't get enough of it. The rest of the guys that were there were just talking about the set and just get involved. As I say, I had no ticket until today, and it was the best decision I made. I picked up a ticket for 60 quid. 60 quid I got a ticket for on the resale. So that was a bit of a coup. 60 quid. The merch, that's what I meant to tell you about. The merch, very expensive. Found some other t-shirts and other places afterwards, but I didn't. This is better. The one I've got is better. The merch, it's like 100 quid for a hoodie, 50 quid for a t-shirt. Wow. How did things get to their prices? It's just a sign of the times, I suppose. Supply and demand, and there was plenty of demand for those t-shirts. So, yeah, falling asleep here slightly. Just exhilarated, but really, really fantastic gig. 10 out of 10. I'm glad we got in time. If you're going, go early. Just go in early. If tonight's going to go by, as I say, I don't know what the queues were like, but there was thousands of people outside the Hydro with like half an hour to go, and the queues were going nowhere. Queues just snaking round the building. Stewards not telling anybody what's happening. And then I asked one of the stewards, is the delaying the start of the gig, and he said aye. So I don't know when it did actually start, because I didn't have my watch on, I didn't have my phone. So yeah, fantastic gig, guys. Ghost smash it out the park again. Roll on the next gig. The Skeletor show in the Hydro is now complete, and I was there, and it genuinely was a kind of I was there moment. So chuffed to bits. I decided to do that today, and a wee cup of tea and off to bed. Next gig I think I've got coming up is Maiden at the Hydro. Florence Black late in the year. I was at Zach Wilde, as you'll probably have watched. Big shout out to Marco and Mark, two of my subscribers from the channel that I met up with tonight. Great to see you again, guys. Keep supporting the channel, keep liking, subscribing, and if you enjoyed this, leave me a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you soon. Ghost. Oh. Lost for words. See you.